I'd like now just to introduce the Planning Committee for a moment. That's my great privilege. I'm very pleased to welcome the co-chairs of the Planning Committee for this workshop, Clarion Johnson. He's the co-chair of the Public-Private Partnerships Forum and now a consultant to ExxonMobil, where he was a major player there for many years, and Regina Rabinovich of the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, who will introduce the workshop. So, Clarion, the microphone is yours.
Good morning, all. It's really nice to have one of your heroes speak before you. I figure I can sort of bounce off of that into what I'm going to talk about. But Dr. Moat, thank you so very much. 4 years ago, when you inaugurated this, we had great hopes, and you really gave us a nice start. And we hope that we can continue after this talk. And the three things with regard to engineering better medicine, looking at the brain, and informatics are things that should be on our agenda, should be incorporated in how we think and how we go forward. So thank you very much. As you know, Dr. Moat has an incredible background. Before becoming president of University of Maryland, he was at Berkeley and did great things there. And I can comfortably say they still continue to relish in his accomplishments. And I would like to begin by talking about our workshop and what we're going to do today. We have an ambitious agenda, and the context of our workshop are these. We will describe the growth and changes in the PPP's model use in global health, how we've used it, and how we're going to use it. Define governance in the context of this workshop. Broadly, governance is conceived of as the art of steering societies and organizations. The art of steering societies and organizations. Within the context of the public-private partnerships, governance refers to the structures, the processes, and the practices for decision-making and for ultimately accomplishing the goal of the partnership. Also, lastly, in that vein, we will emphasize the importance of governance for partnerships in global health. Where does it fit? How do we use it? Sharing what has worked and looking at what we need to do, who we need to have at the table, the inherent flexibility to make this work, and realizing that when you begin an initiative, those who start may not be those who finish. You may be bringing in others to work it. So flexibility is something we're going to discuss today. Our objectives are four: to examine the role governance assumes in PPPs for global health and how governance impacts the effectiveness of these partnerships in improving health outcomes. This is a dynamic process. We need to always keep that in mind. Consider the range of stakeholders and sectors engaged in global health partnerships and how specific organizational attributes impact a partnership's governance and decision-making processes. As I said, you may need different groups at different phases and different stages. So you need to make sure that those whom you are sharing this with, whom you are talking to, who you are getting the buy-in of, understand what your processes are like. They are not fixed, they are not static. Third, explore best practices, common challenges, and lessons learned in the varying approaches to partnership governance. There's a lot to be learned, a lot to be shared. Successes, failures, and that gray area called near misses. And lastly, illuminate the key issues in the governance of global health PPPs with the goal of increasing their effectiveness in improving health outcomes. If I were in a room and there was a senior engineer who might have preceded me, I would say, we're going to find ways to measure, because metrics are very important in engineering, and we're learning to use them in medicine in ways we have not historically. And they play a role in allowing us to speak across the different boundaries and the different groups whom we interact with. The metrics add one incredible addition, that is transparency. They really allow for that to be appreciated in that way. So with that, I would like to thank you and ask that my co-chair, Regina Rabinovich, come up and take you into the next phase. Thank you all so very much, and we could not be happier to have you here, and we hope that you will open and share, and we hope we can return that. Thank you.